introduction. Here's my colleague, Maria Bogdatikova. She is head of PR at our agency. Thank you for strong attention to Ukraine. We hear many different questions, and we will presentation today about our life, about our agency. Today is a big challenge for me because it's my first time presentation in English. However, this year all Ukrainians had many different things what we do first time in our life. For example, we had to work from bomb shelters for the first time. We had to hold communication during a big blackout for the first time. And we had to build communication from usual business communication to the more business communication for the first time. Therefore, speaking in English, it's maybe the more pleasant my first time in this year. At the beginning, I would like to ask you any 5 facts about Ukraine, what you know. 5 facts, please. Kyiv, yeah. Our location, our agency located in Kyiv. Thank you. 1. Greece.
Great. Zrno.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Big country. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, could you repeat, please?
Suffering thanks to the Russians.
Oh, okay, we are suffering thanks to the Russian, yes. It's kind of fact about us. Maybe any personalities from Ukraine?
Shevchenko, poet or footballist? Who? We have 2 Shevchenko. Okay, thank you. Have you ever been in Ukraine? No?
Oh, okay.
You? Wow. Okay. I'm sure that after our victory with Ukraine, achieved with Europe and whole world against Russian aggression, there will be more of you who want to visit Ukraine on our next meeting. I really believe in this. Let us introduce to our country a little closer. We want you to see Ukraine with our eyes. We want the way we love it. Maria, let's introduce.
So let's start with the pure statistical facts about Ukraine. First one, the population of our country before the war was 43 million people. Our country is the biggest European state by size, and our big and rich territory is our big pride and great advantage, but nowadays it needs a lot of resources to protect it. And of course, business. In January 2022, there were registered more than 1.25 million businesses in Ukraine. However, during the year of war, 2022, there were new 202,000 new businesses in Ukraine, and it's a great number during the war. Sounds impressive. And one of the most important facts about Ukraine, understanding us better, and which will be interesting for you as advertisers, marketers, communication specialists, the national emblem of Ukraine, which already exists during more than 1,000 years, includes the word vola, which in English means freedom. This is a significant identification sign for us, and this is something that every Ukrainian will stand by until the end. Freedom, independence, this is what we value the most. And let us show you a little bit more about Ukraine, like a small invitation to what it looks like and who we are. It will be a video. looked like before the war, and we are sure that after our victory you will be able to visit our country and see it by your own eyes, and maybe we will even have a next meeting, Amin meeting in Ukraine and Kiev, and it will be a great pleasure to everybody. Also, we need to mention that we have incredible people in Ukraine. Ukrainians made a lot of research and discoveries in culture and production and science and a lot of different sectors. And as we can speak about Ukrainians during hours, and we don't have such time today here, that's why Natalia and I choose a video that will introduce Ukrainian people and Ukrainian culture more to you. You can scan QR code and learn more about Ukrainians, or just then we give you a minute to scan it.
We would like to show you our flagship business operating in Ukraine and the way they look like.
Okay.
It's simple. It's our flagship food supermarket chain. They're not entertainment park. It's a really simple supermarket for food. The chain exists in 62 Ukrainian cities. In 2022, there are 296 supermarkets in it. It's a huge chain in Ukraine. They look like this. And this supermarket players has set a challenge for whole market, and the retail market in Ukraine is how keeping up with it. And all our supermarket is very nice and very comfortable, and they fight each other for the customer attention. Some real life for our business during work time. This is simple supermarket, next, which are located near Ukraine, 10 kilometers, only 10 kilometers from our capital. Before war, it's few days after beginning war. But 1 year now, it's renovated and it's work again. Ukrainian people have always created and developed in this market work.
And this is our next market player, Nova Poshta. It is the largest private network post offices in Ukraine. It includes 8,500 departments all over the Ukraine and 1,600 parcel lockers. You may see it like the map of Nova Poshta parcel lockers and departments here. And by August, this is numbers by August 2022, so during the war. Here's the map, and as you may see, our country is very big. And now, when we wait for some parcels during 2 days, it seems to us that it is too long, and we can even complain about it, because Nova Poshta delivery each parcels from one end of the country to another end during maybe 2 days. Maybe we're a little bit capricious, but we really like the speed and the quality of services. As a market player, Nova Poshta sets the business a very huge results. An interesting fact, as soon as Ukrainian defenders deliberated new regions, Nova Poshta turned back and renewed departments and logistics within a week. And all Ukrainians has an opportunity to send some parcels, medicines, food, some volunteer staff to support victims of occupation. And all businesses we are talking about today, they support economies through renewing their business in deliberated cities. Natalia?
The next important player in our business is Rosetka. It's a huge digital platform for sale. Developed chain and departments fast address delivery with 1-3 days. It was a norm for Ukraine. There was a pre-war statistics, 77 of people made regular purchases online. Online shopping is a habit for Ukrainians.
And Monobank, it's an innovative bank in Ukraine. Currently it has 6.75 million clients. So we are used to the fact that we can open a new bank card during 2 minutes in our smartphones. We can transfer money just by shaking our smartphones, and we can, sorry. Sorry. Okay. So we can even get some bank documents online just in a couple of minutes. And it really made a revolution in Ukraine. It shows that banking field can be very user-friendly and all Ukrainian banks now have to keep up with one another.
And our main share on the top is DIA. DIA is a state in smartphone. We'll show
2 years ago, we created a digital passport in a smartphone, a document one should not leave at home. Ukraine is the first country in the world to equate a digital passport with a physical one. Having a digital passport in DIA, Ukrainians can open bank accounts, receive money transfers, pick up postal packages, board trains and planes within Ukraine, etc. Using digital passport in DIA is secure and reliable. You can check its validity with the help of a QR code in the application. This feature is available for any DIA user. We got rid of endless paper trail, certified by handwritten signatures. In 2 simple clicks, Ukrainians are able to use certified copies of their important documents in institutions and even when checking into a hotel. The documents are stored in PDF format and have a date and notice from organization that have received it. DIA. Simple, invisible, humane.
It's a state program, it's a state platform. Now we can even get married by DIA. The task which the state has been solved for itself is to digitalize our nationals as much as possible. And we are going, it's very cool and very fast, really. Why do I want to show you this today? Because their local brands are a sense of what Ukrainian business is and what pace is it. Speed plus quality plus service. This is a formula of business that Ukrainians value very much, and the way in which our business moves.
So what about our business, WARTO Communication Agency? Our agency has been working on the Ukrainian market for almost 18 years. We will celebrate the 18th birthday this May. And this is a very impressive number for Ukraine because it's a huge indicator that we are a very stable and sustainable company in Ukraine. It happens that the history of our agency was very connected with time of changes and challenges, and we prepared a timeline. You may see that in 2004, a year before the agency was founded, the Orange Revolution took place in Ukraine. It was a massive protest against corruption and election fraud. As a result, Ukrainian people defended their right to have clear elections, and they contributed to positive changes in our legislation. And however, the revolution was a big stress to the economy, but half a year after the end of the revolution, in May 2005, WARTO Communications Agency was founded. Although the main events of the revolution was ended, now the time of changes began in Ukraine. In 2008, together with our clients and other companies, we successfully passed the global financial and economic crisis. Despite everything, our agency continued to develop. In 2013, the Revolution of Dignity took place in Ukraine. This revolution began as a peaceful protest against the rejection of European integration, but became a really powerful movement for saving the country's independence and unity. Unfortunately, in 2015, a month after the end of the Revolution of Dignity, our crazy, aggressive neighbors, Russia, decided to take advantage of exhausted state of our country and annex Crimea, and then occupied a couple of Donetsk and Lugansk regions. In fact, that year was the year the war began. But we continue to work, and in 2020, another crisis, COVID pandemic, stand by us, and together with our clients, we learned how to adopt different PR tools and communication instruments to the new reality. And then, of course, after all, 2022, large-scale war. But even this does not stop our agency. We continue to work without any stops from the 24th of February, just as much part of Ukrainian businesses and Ukrainian people. Despite all challenges and crises, we overcame them together with our clients and helped businesses, Ukrainian businesses, to sustain. We implemented more than 1,450 communication, media and advertising campaigns for more than 120 projects. We became one of the 10 most effective communication agencies in Ukraine. We work with brands from various sectors. It's Ukrainian companies and also international companies existed in Ukraine, such as Samsung Ukraine, Carlsberg Ukraine, Crédit Agricole, Amadeus, Bayer, Avon, Watsons, and a lot of other companies. And we also actively cooperate with international specialized organizations and granted organizations. And our team. Nowadays, our team includes 20 full-time employees and 31 project employees, and they are the best professionals in their sectors.
Even though we didn't really choose the way to offer the crisis, we had to learn how to conduct business in extraordinary conditions. But the modern world is entering an era of constant changes. And that is why today we want to share with you the insight with the crisis we overcome gave us. We have worked out 5 rules which helps us survive any challenges. In Ukraine, all the crises start the same. From business cutting their marketing and PR budget, total optimization starts, and it hits the agency business a lot. So our first rule, it's reserve fund. The first and most important thing is management structure and reserve fund. When I was building WARTO agency, I was hesitating. It should be a creative community or a structured business. Currently, we have built a systematic business which gives us stability and motivates us to develop. We pay a lot of our attention for financial planning and accountancy. We have strong rule from any income. We always set aside a certain part in the reserve fund, which is ensuring 3-6 months of survival of the agency in case of any force majeure. It saved us during the war. Suddenly, during the war, 40% of the agency in Ukraine closed in the first months because the clients couldn't pay their debts and there was not reserve money to support and keep the agency afloat. All the beginnings to the war, our agency had a good reserve fund because its previous crisis taught us to follow regularity. During a serious force majeure, Ukrainian clients freezes the budget for the 3-4 months, and the habit is formed and the project unlatched in the new reality. And a new interesting discovery in this war, which can be followed only a condition of a very serious decreases now during the war. When the level of the crisis rises higher and higher, the time for human and business adaptation to new challenge is going down.
And our second rule, the most stable currency of an employer is communication within the company. Intra-corporate PR saved our company very much during the uncertainty of the war, of the first invasion. Together with our HR department, we had to develop a clear understanding of how to keep people in combat-ready condition. Our agency has not stopped for a single day during the war, as I mentioned before, and just imagine, here is what some of our mornings look like because of air alerts and the city's bombing, like when we're hiding from in safe space from bombing. subway in Kiev in different stations, and it is now a kind of tradition to sing our folk songs or some symbolic during this war songs together, because it helps us to feel unity and support more positive mood during this very difficult time. And after the alert is ended, some people move to their offices to continue to work, somebody may go home to continue to work from distance. Here is a bit of our personal archive. Sometimes you have to work, or you have to motivate your team to work in such conditions too. So here is also how we work. It's like during the air alert, it's our personal time.
Masha work with our site.
Social network.
Social media.
Just okay, air alert. And here is like on the photos, it's a time of total blackout in Kiev. We organize a kind of co-working in our colleagues' houses to continue to work there. And also a couple of our archive. I will show you firstly one video. It's our colleague. She lives near Kiev, a couple of kilometers near Kiev, and she said that thanks God we have rain in November and they have water during this situation. It also the photo of our colleague that she's very tourist enthusiastic, and it helps her a lot when the situation was that we didn't have any electricity, warmth, connection, water, anything else during 4 days in Kiev. And here is another video. It's my personal archive, and I believe that it was one of the most delicious soup in my life because it was warm, and like I prepared it on candles. It was a typical situation just a half a year ago in Ukraine. So, our clients, you may guess what was the most difficult during blackouts. And our answer is that it was a loss of connection, because you didn't know what happened in the country, in the city. You didn't know what happened with your nearest people. You didn't know whether it's danger or not. And we continued to communicate, continued to work as much as it was possible. It was very important because then we hear from our colleagues that it was very important for them to understand that there is at least one stable thing, and it was work. And work motivates them and gives them hope. If the company works, then there is a future. Of course, our clients face the same situation, and if before the war in our agencies there was not so many projects connected with internal corporate services, during the first 6 months of the war we helped companies a lot to establish these internal communications. And one of the greatest examples of such type of communication is shown by the president of our country, Vladimir Zelensky. Every evening, our president, during each day of the war, records a video report based on the results of the days and the situation, and tells about what happened and the main cases. Such an approach was used for many companies during the first months and continue to be very important thing nowadays.
Our third rule in the crisis: unity, volunteering, and networking are powerful. The kind of interaction helps to react very powerfully and to be flexible in a crisis situation. This is a new trend what has gained a lot of influence in Ukraine, and which we think will continue in our country. Competitor and related campaign united together to solve common problem. All this campaign we showed you in our presentation and many other Ukrainian campaigns united to order to overcome the challenge of the war. Our story. Yeah? In the first months of the war, when we realized that we had no customers at all, we asked ourselves the question: how can we be used for our country, victory, businesses? What's needs now? We saw that business was lost communication. We set our colleagues to call business and offer them free help, Because everything that business came up with before the war, all plans, all the advertising campaign, communication campaigns were completely not suitable. We have helped more than 24 big and middle-sized companies to restore communication with customers. We have completely loaded ourselves with work. It was unpaid work, but this work saved the Ukrainian business, helped to adapt to new reality and save our team. We were loaded and we felt needed. We felt that we were adding to victory and to the Ukrainian optimism. We have seen how positively people react to the news about brands working again. We have seen that we give hope. The factories are working, production is produced something, lives go on. This work didn't give our agency any money, but it gave us two cents to live on, and new friends in the business and good media resonance. Our conclusion is that in difficult times we need to unite, we need to help.
And our fourth rule, systematicity wins uncertainty. There is a very great temptation in time of chaos to jump into some individual instruments in communication, but this is a very big trap for businesses. It may deviate them from the main goal and spends a lot of resources on that now needed to be saved. As our flagship product is developing a comprehensive communication strategy, we ask themselves questions during the war, would such a complex product be needed? And we realized that yes, it needed because it saves our clients. We heard from them that when everything fell, it was necessary for them to understand the main things and not lose yourself in this situation, in this story. We developed strategies for our new clients, and it's more adoptive, flexible strategies. We understand and calculate a lot of different force majeure situations, but still we include a detailed tactical plan, and developed budgets, and calculated KPIs that we have to achieve. From our experience, we made a conclusion that systematicity during the crisis time is very important.
Rule number five. Changes are irreversible. Observe, act, and change. What helps our agency to develop is that changes happen, we accept them, react to them, and change. We are not waiting for the crisis to pass and everything to return to the way it was. We see how our customers' needs are changing, and we offer and adapt our product and tools. For example, during the war, Telegram channels began to have a very important influence in Ukraine. We have Telegram channels that compete with media today. They already have journalist staff like a real small editorials. Some challenge have millions of followers. We saw these tools and we offered client promotion with it. Secondly, during the war, the weight of national and regional mass media changes a lot. As the many forces migrants inside the country, people, when they move to another region, start reading the local region publication. We also saw this and very quickly rebuilt our work in this direction. Third, during the war, corporate and social projects become very important. Today, it is necessary for every Ukrainian business to show what social project they are doing for bring victory closer. Census become very important during the crisis. Our agency now developed and implemented a lot of social projects.
So, a kind of conclusion for us that the harder the challenge is, the quicker the agency has to broaden its horizons. The war pushed our business customers to expand their sales, market, and go abroad. And on the other hand, we saw the interest that the situation drew attention to our country, and many international companies nowadays are interested in Ukrainian market and consider it from the point of view of future investments. And today, our aim for the agency is to become a provider of PR support for Ukrainian businesses to enter the European market, and we have already started to provide, and this is the language of marketing and PR. That is why today we are really interested to get to know more about European agencies, European market, and your life, your work routine better, to see what we have in common and which expertise will be needed to share. and of course to realize project together. I believe that during these days we will have a lot of conversation together, and maybe even Ukrainian media nowadays are very interested in some professional materials, so maybe we will have a kind of interviews with you, and we will be happy for your experience. And as examples of successful cooperation, we have already worked together with Czech brand WARTO. It makes animal food, and we developed a communication strategy for them. And it is already approved strategies that will be implemented, and which we get a lot of support from the head office. And we will realize it together with Czech design agency. And as a reverse experience, we Ukrainian brand company asked to help them to spread information in the mass media in American and Canadian markets. We also work together with Canadian agency, and we were responsible for strategy and communication with the client, while our Canadian partner were responsible for pitching the media. And we actively setting this cooperation nowadays, so we see the future in such collaborations, and we will be happy and open to work together with European colleagues in the future.
What we want to say in the end: Ukraine is Europe. We felt that this war will stand with you for shared values for freedom and democracy. We are a free people in a free country. We understand that in the future we will live as one European family. We know partnership and collaboration bring excellent results. Therefore, today we are very interested in getting to know each other better and in sharing experience and expertise. And we will be very happy to continue our conversation in the future joint project, in our future joint implementation. Thank you, Europe, for support. Slava Ukraini!
And if you have any question, you may ask us.
Questions, minds, whatever. Or maybe later during dinner, you're there. It's a great presentation, thank you. I really wonder, I love your mission, did you say, and we want to be the hub between Ukraine and the rest of Europe for marketing, and let's try something. I really wonder, but maybe you can help us with that, if there are now companies from Europe wanting to go into Ukraine for business or whatever. I don't know. The other way around, you know. But let's see how we can find it's a great thing.
Thank you.
So maybe we will show one case.
Yes.
If you're interested, we will show you our case before war. We have first
two cases. One of them was connected with medicine, so here it is.
It's our old logo. Now we didn't use game.
And this is a winning case for FE Ukraine awards. Like we achieved golden FE and silver FE in different categories for this case.
Що ви знаєте про рак? Щогодини 20 українцям діагностують це захворювання. А більшість з нас навіть боїться обговорювати проблему. І прийняти той факт, що в нашій країні рак вражає кожного 4-го чоловіка і кожну 6-ту жінку. Тобто ризик захворіти є у кожного.
Основною проблемою української онкології сьогодні є, на жаль, відсутність ранньої діагностики. І це не тому, що ми не можемо діагностувати. Це тому, що онкологія, вона не болить і не має симптомів. І це, мабуть, така ключова проблема, коли немає розуміння між пацієнтом, лікарем і взагалі розумінням процесу рак. Слово рак ми вкрай боїмося, але насправді це те захворювання, яке можливо перемагати.
Ви боїтеся онкології, лікаря, діагностики. Але не свого комп'ютера. Отже, ми створили її, яка не лякає, а спонукає пройти онлайн-тест для раннього виявлення схильності до онкологічних захворювань. Це результат масштабних світових досліджень в галузі онкології, який адаптовано під українські реалії. Нам вдалося перетворити цей тест на популярний челендж, про який заговорили топові блогери України, відомі журналісти та рейтингові ЗМІ. Тільки за перший тиждень про тест дізналося понад 1 мільйон українців. Кожен другий пройшов тест. Піклуйся про себе та своїх близьких.
It was then. And the second case, it was this year finalist of FE Europe Awards.
But we realized it before.
Before the war.
But it's connected with war now. We didn't know this before.
Since the Berlin Wall fell, the cultural frontier between freedom and captivity has been moving eastward year after year. In 2014, this border stopped in eastern Ukraine. After Russia annexed part of Ukrainian territory, residents of the Donetsk and Luhansk region found themselves on both sides of this barrier. The influence of both worlds has a decisive impact on the vision of the future of themselves, their families, their homes and cities. Two years ago, our team joined the initiative to help a depressed city bordering on warfare to find a dream. An inspiring dream about the future of this city as the best city to live in. We immediately faced a challenge. Some citizens have left the city because of the war, and others who recently faced hostilities naturally think only about today's survival. The authorities and local activists were ready to work on the concept of the city's development. But how can we involve the public? We decided to give up the role of mentors, motivators, or preachers of a promising and beautiful future. Instead, we turned to the people with the question, okay, the reality is hard, but what may be next? Together with the city authorities, we created a digital platform where people could directly express their suggestions for changes in the city that would improve the future. The platform was equally accessible to everyone, wherever they are. From the moment both housewives, workers of heavy industrial enterprises, youth, elders and others, pretty much every citizen was involved. We constantly applied the multi-channel principle in our communications to cover all the channels people are familiar with. We followed the most resonant public discussions and trends and networks where people talked about painful daily issues. We joined in with our message. We agree, the reality is difficult, and what do you want next? Sometimes it looked like a provocation, sometimes it even caused an outrage, but there always was a link to Strategy's platform and the call to think further. Step by step, we formed a dream about their own city. The citizens saw a wide discussion on the usual daily channels of information and the regularity of activities, which showed that the city is moving toward new meanings. Though unfortunately, the city strategy implementation has not started yet, because this city is malleable. The strategy will be implemented because Mariupol is a city that has a dream, and it's a true home of brave and unbreakable people of Ukraine.
support.